Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Today I'm not really going to be talking about anything super technical, and we're not really going to be going into networking or product. Well, put an asterisk because I am kind of going to be doing a little bit of a review of something. But I did end up going to the thrift store today, and I found four pretty interesting things that the total cost of ownership was about 25 bucks plus taxes in Canada, which brings it to just about $30, give or take, right? If you include gas prices and time and so on. So I went to the thrift store, and I was looking around in the little, I guess, technology section that they have, which is pretty cool if you, depending on the city where you are. And I found four routers that were for sale with all their antennas, all their chargers and stuff like that. And obviously, had to go and make sure that they are somewhat serviceable. You can't really do a full serviceability check on a router in the thrift store because you don't have a computer, whatever. So the quick power on method that I do is I power it on, I make sure it fully boots up, and I see if I can I see if I can detect the wireless network that is broadcast. If I don't see it, I do a factory reset, and if I don't see it, then I drop it, or if I do see it, I take it. And for me, taking routers under a certain, I guess, trim or feature set, I don't take them. And if there's any missing pieces and missing parts, I also don't take them. That being said, I am really excited to tell you guys about my purchase today. So the first one is, let's see, this is, sorry, hold the phone here because we are all mangled up in the wires. This is a D-Link DIR X3260. I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see that on, I don't know if it's going to focus enough. Whatever. Anyways, it's a DIR X3260, which my phone didn't have pretty good coverage in the store. So after I made sure that it's a serviceable router, I went onto the product page at D-Link and I verified it. This is it's not a high trim, or a high feature set router, but it is a Wi-Fi 6, and this bad boy cost me $399 plus tax. The next one that I found is a little bit dusty, but that's okay because I found it buried under some other things. This is a D-Link DIR 882. I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see it, but just right here, 882. This is a Wi-Fi 5 AC 2600. I think it's an AC. Correct me if I'm wrong. I will have the product pages down in the description. But it is an AC 2600 megabits per second. So apart from the what is it? I think it's 433 megabits on the 2.4 gigahertz band. It does offer a bunch of other megabits on the 5 gigahertz band, and that's pretty cool. This bad boy ended up probably being one of the most expensive in the bunch. It was valued at like $799. So I didn't have a charger for it, but it was it was too good to pass up. So what I ended up buying is I saw the spec on the label over here. It takes a 12 volt, 2.5 amp charger. So what I ended up doing is I found this Light-On 12 volt, 2.5 amp charger and a compatible D-Link charger. I ended up tossing the D-Link charger, and I just took the compatible connector after I made sure that it fits. And I soldered the two, making a nice long cable for it. It works. Everything is happy. I've already updated it to the latest firmware. It's fantastic. I love it. A lot of people are hating on D-Link products. I really don't understand why. They, for what you're getting, kind of fantastic. And if you, like I said, this is kind of going to be a half-half product review, half kind of like a advice slash direction. But I will be making a couple of videos with those bad boys in the near future, so stand by. But basically, if you want to increase the feature set of the router, or your router is past warranty, not getting software updates, not the end of the world. Just as long as you make sure that the router has a compatibility with any type of aftermarket software. So DDWRT, OpenWRT, Fresh Tomato. If you're buying an Asus router, the Asus Merlin project, there's a bunch of open source software alternatives out there which are fantastic. They continue to give a very long livelihood to your hardware, and with a little bit of preventative maintenance, Bob's your uncle, and you continue to have a fantastically operating piece of kit for the foreseeable future. The next thing that I bought, which is actually brand new in box, and this is kind of like the highlight of my trip to the thrift store, is still in the box, I'm telling you guys, is this bad boy. It's a Linksys WRT 19. Whoops, sorry, wrong hand. WRT 1900 AC, which is another. It's a 1900 AC router, which is 433 plus 1466, whatever, on the 5 gigahertz band. Not that I personally care. Or sorry, no, it's an N600 plus AC 1300. There we go. Those are the numbers that I was looking for. Which is pretty cool. Because the device itself features a dual-core ARM processor, and the best part is, find it right here. I don't know if the camera is gonna pick it up. Open source ready. So when these were still pretty mainstream, and essentially every household had a WRT router back in the day, these were the go-to router for any type of a startup open source project. So like, if you guys are remembering the older audience members, the WRT 54, if I remember correctly, the old 10100 routers, these were the gateway for any type of open source project. So DDWRT is based off a WRT 5400. OpenWRT was also based for WRT 5400s. I remember finding randomly a open source router firmware project which was specifically for the WRT series, and it was hand tailored for the WRT series, and it was for only the WRT series routers everywhere. I gotta look it up. If I find it in post, I guess post production for this video, I will put it in the video description. If not, well, a little bit of Google who never hurt anybody. You guys are more than capable and more than present up in the membrane to figure out how to do it. I have complete trust in you. But anyways, this is the third router that I found. It cost a whopping $5, so $4.99 plus tax. And this is like the gem, the crown gem of the haul. It's absolutely fantastic. And last but not least, it's the router that I'm currently using for the home network. This was one of those, another too good to pass up, and I'll tell you why. Even though it was missing an antenna, it had everything else. It was working flawlessly. It had the charger and everything, but again, it did have a missing antenna. Not the end of the world, whatever. But it is another Linksys router. It is. I don't know if I'm going to be able to bring it over here. Linksys EA, and it's kind of a mouthful, an EA8100 V2. And as you can see, 1, 2, 3, but no fourth antenna, which if we kind of sort of do like a quick examination, the router itself is actually one of the more powerful feature set routers, if I remember correctly. And I'm just gonna do a quick Google search. EA8100 V2. It is a AC2600 feature set of Linksys Maxstream product line of routers. Features two USB or sorry, a USB / eSATA combo and a USB 3 on top of everything else. It does have a slightly slower CPU. I remember reading it's a 880 megahertz, something along those lines. I am speaking a lot out of memory, so please forgive me about that. But it is it does have a feature that even the WRT doesn't, and it's the extremely long range due to the 4 5 dB antennas that are attached to it. I would actually like to engage you guys for a little bit of conversation, because I think the WRT series, especially the AC feature support routers, have the same 5 dB antenna. I had a long chat with a Linksys expert, and I could not for the life of get the spec of the antennas. I'm gonna go on a limb here and say if it looks like it, it barks like it talks like it, then it is it. The antennas are both in I don't want to say capacitance because I haven't really tested their capacitance or their inductance, but the antennas look the same. They kind of are interchangeable. I don't want to say they're the same ones. And when I was going through the product details on their respective product pages, they did seem to sort of support the same features. I also was a little, I want to think that I was a little proactive. I had a look at the I guess reviews that people have put in, and everybody is saying, oh, it's like great range, great whatever. I kind of want to assume that it's the same antenna, but you know what? Fuck it. Let's just assume it's the same antenna. So for about $27, $26, $25 after tax, 27, 28. These are the 4 routers that I ended up getting. I'm extremely satisfied with my thrift store. I only hit 1 out of the 2 in town, and maybe tomorrow after work, I am going to hit the other one up and see if I can find any forbidden treasures. It's kind of like a little bit of a heads up to everybody. This generation of hardware is slowly being phased out of people's homes and out of small businesses that didn't want to dedicate to a IT team and maybe just had the more competent family member do the IT in the background. These are being phased out and literally donated to stores. If you have a somewhat of a decent community around you, 100,000, 150,000 people, please visit the thrift store. You can save a router, and it's not that expensive. Like I said, 4 routers for about $30 after tax. It's a steal, and you can't go wrong, especially with how powerful these little machines are. I did end up buying a couple extra things that I'm not going to be showing on camera, but for what I ended up buying and the price set of it, absolutely fantastic. I will be doing a more in-depth review of each one of those routers a little bit further down the line. I know I am lagging behind. It is not so easy keeping up with the busy schedule. I will be getting back to you with more details. That being said, thank you so very much for your continued support. I know this isn't really the kind of video that I normally do when it comes to, talking about hypervisor, software-defined networking, or just reviewing a type of software. That's okay. But it is something that is related to the field, and it is probably a very big basis because you kind of need a router to do networking, right? Ha ha ha, lame joke. Sorry. But yeah, because it is a very large base of the content that I would like to make and continue making, it is something that I am constantly on the lookout for. So again, thank you very much for joining me. It will be expanding the videos, but for now, thank you so very much for 60 plus subscribers. Thank you so very much for your watch time. Believe it or not, your contributions just as a quick subscription, a quick notification bell, and just viewing the video helps. If in the future you decide that I am probably worthy of being whitelisted in your ad blocker, please do so. It helps me out immensely. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.